It's Wednesday at lunch. So you know what that means. It's time for This Week on the E. And our special guest this week is Chief Laundry Master, Cook, Bottle Washer, and Goal Scorer Extraordinaire in his 50s, the commissioner of the Eastern Massachusetts Roller Hockey League, Dave Gardner. And so Dave asked last night, he's bragging that he scored 6 seconds into a game as a sub. What are we talking about this week? So Dave, when's your piss test?
Oh my gosh. I think I'm the oldest guy out there on Tuesday, not on Saturday, obviously.
Well, Cause is the oldest guy out there, right?
Well, I got Cause and Ernie and JR, and we'll talk about JR and what happened with him on Saturday coming up later on. But I think I'm pretty sure I'm the oldest guy there on Tuesday night. And, well, when we talk about the game I played in, we'll tell you how I did.
So tell me, how does one ref and score at the same time?
I didn't. It was a really bad day yesterday. We had 2 goalies out, okay, at 6:30, which is the first game. So luckily the captains got together. They got goalies, and out of the blue, one of the other captains that was playing at 7:30 says, "Hey, you want me to come up and help out?" And I was like, "Wow, could you?" And then another guy at 7:30 showed up. And they both said they would referee the 6:30 game, and that allowed me to play because one of the teams only had 5 guys.
Nice.
So, yeah, so it was a very I don't get to play that often anymore because I'm refereeing a lot. And if I get to referee 2 games, there's no way I could play a third. I just don't have that energy. So when they said, "Yep, we'll referee for you," I was like, "Wow, that is fantastic!" And they allowed me to play. So yeah, we'll talk about how good or bad I did. Later on.
You scored. He could have done that badly.
Yeah, well, no, it was a little bit of everything. But anyway, let's get to our sponsors here. We'll kick off the show as we normally do.
Yeah.
So thanks to Paramount Wealth Strategies, and I got their white jersey hanging over here. I don't know if I like their white or their black jersey better, Ron. The black one is really sharp, but the white, everything kind of pops off of that too. So
I've yet to see any of those jerseys look bad.
Yeah, no, there's not a bad one. And every time I look, it's like, oh, that's my favorite. And then it's like, no, that's my favorite. So I don't know. They're all really, really sharp looking. Everett Bank, and I got their away jersey on right here. Alpha Omega Hobby in Quincy. The Bates Insurance in Medford. Local 103 IBEW. The East Boston Savings Bank. The One Call Ventilation here, and I got their home jersey behind me in the white, and also Aces Games and More in Revere. And I should be heading over to Aces Games maybe on Sunday. They got some Super Bowl merchandise in for the Patriots, as well as the old retro games that I enjoy playing. So I'm hoping to get over there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wear one of their jerseys when I go in.
Is it retro board game or console games?
Console games, PlayStation, Xbox 360, and they have new ones too, but they have some of the older retro games I enjoy playing for the PS2 and stuff like that. Nintendo, and Sega, they got a few like that. Not too many board games though.
I played on the Magnavox Odyssey. Was the first game system I played in back in like 1978.
Yeah, I don't think I ever had an Odyssey.
Not many people did.
The first one I had, and I get a picture of it somewhere of me playing it that they snapped. It was a Sears Telesports or Telepon.
Yes.
It was about this big, and it had the speaker right in the thing. And it just had a couple of dial pads, and you could play Pong or you could play hockey. And the difference was hockey had the net rather than like Pong's like wide open, And it was a race car game. And it was just, it hooked up to the black and white TV, and that's what we played. And that was my first video game. In fact, there was a restaurant I went to, I'm not sure when it was. It was like 10 years ago. I was at a restaurant, and they had all this paraphernalia hanging on the wall, as some of them do. And one of them had the Sears Pong game with the controllers hanging up.
That's cool.
And I was like, that was my first video game. In fact, it didn't have a volume control, so we used to have to put towels over the speakers if we were early in the morning, so we wouldn't wake anybody up, because it didn't connect. It just had video to the TV. But yeah, that. And then I think I got the Atari and the Intellivision, and then from there I don't know where I went, but I never had the Odyssey or the ColecoVision. But I do have. Check this out. I do have Intellivision hockey.
I am in awe.
It's not. It wasn't my original one, obviously. But I was in one of the retro stores somewhere, and they had that. I was like, complete in the box with and the crazy thing was, right? Not to belabor this point anymore, but so it had the cartridges, right? But it had the overlays. Remember the overlays that you stuck in there? So this one is like, it has the cartridge, the overlays, and the instructions. I don't even know if it works. I don't have it in television anymore, so I'll never know if it works. But I have that kind of a little decor on my desk over there. So
that is an immaculate shape.
So yeah, it wasn't too bad. Considering the best ones to collect for retro games were the Sega Genesis one, because they came in the plastic hard shell cases.
Yes,
that is that one there is a cardboard box. The Nintendo and Super Nintendo with cardboard boxes, and it's hard to find those boxes with the game in any kind of shape at all, because they just fell apart and just threw them out. But the Sega though was the plastic case, so I have a lot of Sega hockey games still in the plastic case.
Well, shall we get to other old fossilized games and talk about Saturday?
Yeah, you want to slide over to Saturday? We can do Saturday first.
I got Saturday with, of course, the normal 6 games on the card. We started at 7 o'clock between National Treasure and Face Off. And they played a shortened game as a power outage affected alarm clocks and cell phones early on Saturday morning. 5 of the 6 goals were scored in the quote-unquote second period, and 5 of the 6 altercations took place in the third period. Stephen Mills did not allow a goal because Stephen Mills wasn't there.
Yeah, it was we were kind of concerned.
3-3 tie, by the way. We should say that.
It was 3-3 tie. Yeah, it was 7 a.m. and no Stephen Mills. And so we were like, is everything okay? He's never missed a game. In fact, he's been sick, got a replacement, and still showed up to the rink. That's how, dedicated he is. So we knew something was up. And he sent us a message like 6:59, says, my power went out, so my alarm didn't go off. And I says, well, I usually use my cell phone for my alarm. I don't trust my alarms. And he's like, well, my cell phone was dead. It's like,
I've had that happen to me. Someone, had watched too many videos on their phone, forgot to plug it in. That was their lone alarm clock. Oh, I overslept. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so it happened. So we just messed around until we had one of the goalies from the 8 o'clock game show up. And we said, hey, can you get dressed and jump in? So he get in. So by the time he get in, it was like 7:35. So we ended up playing. We put 27 minutes on the clock, and then we actually played. So we only got in about half the game or so. And so we divided up into second and third period. We just played it out. But yeah, so it was a low scoring game. It rarely happens. And the only time it ever happens is, like I say, if somebody does oversleep, or if, God forbid, there's a car accident or a flat tire, or, a family emergency. But, the goalies are usually really, really good about the first game. And it was just a fluke that we had high winds and he lost power and his cell phone was out. And, it is what it is. And so it's not going to say I can't remember the last time that happened. It's been a long time, and we work really hard to prevent that, but it happened. And so we played a 3-3 game. And I think guys were a little frustrated. So by the time that, the third period rolled around, it got a little chippy. And we had to stop the game and say, if you keep it up, but it's going to stop the game and move on to the 8 o'clock game. If you're going to keep playing like this, guys are elbowing and checking. And
wow.
No need for it. I mean, it's just 7 in the morning. We don't need that. It usually doesn't happen, but it did. And so, I mean, with everything else going on for this game, we just put the hammer down and said, if anything happens again, we're just going to stop the game. It's a 3-3 tie. Everyone gets a point, and you can just go home and come back next week with a better attitude.
That's right.
That's how we approach it.
Go get your coffee and a donut, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. So 3-3 in a shortened game, and really not much to say.
Okay, 8 o'clock, leaving Las Vegas, beat Fast Times of Ridgemont High 9-4. Fast Times were flat times, as Tiny Rick and his gout, here's the story there, led Las Vegas to the only blowout win of the day. Chris Aho had 4 goals for the winners. It was a tough day for a pointless Nick Pertocci and Courtney Brown. In fact, goalie Ryan Hayes had more points than both of them combined. Ouch.
Yeah, goalie Ryan Hayes got credit with an assist in this game. And for some reason, Nick Bertocci's probably one of the top guys in the league, top 4 guys in the league on both Tuesday and Saturday. He's been in a slump. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's got a new girlfriend, if he's in love. I don't know what's going on, but he hasn't been himself, at least on the score sheets. and he come away pointless in this game. And so, Chris Aho had a great game. He chipped in with 4 goals for his team. A strong game, and yep. So it was tough times for Fast Times and Courtney Brown.
Yep. At 9 o'clock, Ghost Rider is the coldest team in the league, but they got a fluke overtime goal by 60-something-year-old J.R. Rowland to get them their first win in what seems like Christmas, 6-5 over Raising Arizona. They had blown a late two-goal lead to sub Randy Kipp or Sip.
I think it's Cipoletta.
Oh, Cipoletta, okay. And Greg, the algorithm didn't finish the last name, by the way. And Greg Good scored to force overtime where Dave Kruger was outcoached by Tommy C.
Yeah, I mean, it was Ghost Rider was up, down. They've been known to collapse. Have you known the last few weeks? They've had some big-time collapses. Teams kind of at each other's throats. And they give up 2 late goals. The last one was 1:37 to play to Greg Good, and that forced overtime. Then in overtime, Tommy C was running different guys out there. Kruger decided to go with the same 3 for the whole 3 minutes, and the guys got tired. And who would have thunk that 60-something-year-old J.R. Rowland gets out there in overtime? And Tommy C actually had a breakaway. The captain of the Ghost Rider had a breakaway, missed. Ball went behind the net, and then somehow it squirted out front, and nobody saw it. And J.R. Rowland was right there, and he backhanded it in, and the goalie didn't even see it. And he got the game winner. Good for him.
Wow.
And, what's he doing out there in overtime, Ron? I don't know. I mean, he's got 10 years on me, and I'm not out there in overtime, you know. But he got the goal. Good for him. And Ghost Rider, a much-needed win for that team.
Awesome. That's awesome. Another overtime game. And at 10 o'clock, Gone in 60 Seconds and Kick Ass. Read that too fast, Ron. 8-8 final. It was 10 versus 11 at 10, and, well, nothing was decided. Gone in 60 seconds. Oh, my gosh, really? They had an 8-2 lead in the third, and we thought it was over. But John Logan had other ideas. After a goal by Fab and 2 by Mike DeVincent, Logan scored twice to complete the comeback. Mike Parkinson made 8 saves in overtime to preserve the tie. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that we just had that. We had the 3-3 tie at 7 in the shortened game. Then we had the overtime game. And then we get to the 10 o'clock game after, what was the 9 o'clock game? 6-5. Yeah, that was the overtime game. So we've had some good games here to this point here, right? So we had the 2 one tie, 1 overtime game, and now here's the 4th game of the day that goes to overtime. Like, wow, we're having a really good day. But I remember going downstairs, and it was, I don't know, it was 8-2 or 8-3 in the third. I was like, well, this one ain't going to overtime. And I come back, and they chipped away, and they chipped away, and they chipped away, and next thing you know, 47 seconds left, and Logan scored again, and that tied it at 8-8. And I was like, wow. I mean, so that's a 6-goal comeback here, and anything's possible. That's what I tell the guys. Don't freak out. Anything is possible up here, and 6-goal comebacks are not uncommon. And they did. They come back for 6 goals, tied it, and then in overtime, yeah, Mike Parkinson. Oh my God! I mean, glove save, this save, kick save. He was a mit. They were sending these shots on him left and right, and he come up with all these saves. And I think I counted 8 in overtime, and it ended 8-8. But yeah, good for Mike.
Do you know off the top of your head what the biggest comeback has been?
Oh boy, there was that playoff game. I think it was last season, and I don't know if it was 6 or 7 or I think it was 7 goals in the third period in the last 10 minutes of a playoff game. A playoff game. A team was, I think it was 7 goals. I'll have to double check. It was the biggest playoff comeback ever. And it was the third period. And what happened is the team that was favored was up by 7, and they were cruising. And the other team was just playing loose because they're like, we got nothing to lose. And they scored 1, then they scored another. And then everything started going in, and it was nuts. And they got the game winner with like 15 seconds left. It was just, you could just see it. It's one of these things, you could just see it. You knew it was going to happen. It was like the Patriots in that 28-3 Super Bowl, and they started coming back. You knew what was going to happen. You knew it. And that's, so we've had that before. So 6 goals in the third period is not uncommon up there at all.
Snake Eyes, 9. The Rock, 5. It was worse versus first, but after a blockbuster trade between the two teams late on Thursday, the last place Snake Eyes got their first win. Nick Rao had 2 goals and a hamburger helper for his new team as he carried them kicking and screaming over the finish line. Tuesday, John Andrews had 3 goals to help the cause. So they're off the schneid.
Yeah, I should have worn the white jersey here, but it's still in the laundry there. But the white jerseys finally got with the white and orange jerseys finally got a win on Saturday. Yeah, we made the first of a handful of trades coming up. And Nick Brow went over to the Snake Eyes team, and he wasn't happy going to the last place team. Can't blame him, but he showed up and he played with such an attitude and such grit, and that's what that team needed. That team needed a guy like that, an angry guy to come in and get it done. And he could have had a half dozen goals. But the goalie made some nice saves and net there. But Nick scored 2, had an assist. Strong, solid game. He was fantastic for that team. And as was the goaltender, Chris Vittorio for Snake Eyes. Oh my gosh, it's his first win of the season, but he is such a good goalie, and he stood on his head in this game. And got him the win. So yeah, so good for Snake Eyes. They're off the schneid. They got a win, and hopefully they can build on this because on paper they're not a bad team. Johnny Andrews, we kid around that he shines on Tuesdays and Saturday he's terrible, which is weird because Tuesday's the harder league. So you figure like myself, I play much better on Saturday because it's more teams. It's each team has a little bit less talent because there's more teams. So I play better on Saturday because I can keep up. With the other guys there. Tuesday's a little more concentrated with talent, so it's a little harder. Johnny's the opposite. He plays better on Tuesday, but this week he cashed in with some big goals, and Snake Eyes off the schneid.
Good for them. And the last game of the day on Saturday, the noontime game, Arsenal got a win at noon. As none of the bottom half of the league lost this week. They had 5 different scores to get the win. Sean Hudson was not one of them. He likes his coffee a certain way, find out, and the algorithm says nice things about
it. Yeah, did not bring me coffee, so he didn't play well at all. But no, 5-4, another close game on the day.
I didn't finish the summary yet. Sub goalie Rob 9-goal BQ had to come up big late in the game for Arsenal as they barely hang on for the 5-4 win. We have not heard from Suey since Steak and BJ Day.
Yes, so he's big on that Steak and BJ Day. I guess it's once a month for him. I don't know. He posts on Facebook, and we just like it. Just that's Suey. We go on with it, But yeah, so he didn't show up, and he was supposed to. So maybe he was tired. I don't know. Maybe his jaw hurt. I don't know. But from eating steak. But the steak must have been hard, is what I was getting at.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, McHugh stepped in and net and made some big saves at the end to preserve the 5-4 win there. So if I look, we get 12 teams on Saturday, and the bottom 6, none of them lost. I think there might have been a tie in there, but none of the bottom 6 lost. So scream and yell all you want, but I think we got some parity. In the chat room, Al's joining us. Thanks, Al. He asked about how we make trades. There's really no right or wrong answer with the trades. It's just when you got a team that's really struggling, sometimes you just try to make you never trade the best for worst guy, because then what you do is you take the problem from this team and just give it to this team, and you haven't solved anything. You've just moved the problem. So we look. There's a lot of guys that are playing with friends or relatives, so it's really hard. Some guys have time constraints, so it's really difficult. It took me, days and days and hours of going back and forth just to make this one trade here, trying to figure out what would work to help this team, but also not, make this team that we're trading from now need some help. And now it's just, paying Peter to pay Paul or whatever that is.
You had mentioned that the player was not real thrilled about doing that. How do you talk someone who might be reluctant into saying, you're in good shape here. We have this wonderful offer for you, and
Cincinnati. It's never easy because what happens though in a draft league is that when you're playing well, you're having fun. If you're one of the top teams, you're having a good time, and everybody shows up to play. When you're one of the bottom teams, you start having attendance issues, and that's just normal. When you're 0-7, and you're like, well, do I want to go, out perusing on Saturday morning and have some fun and go fishing or whatever? Do I want to go on an 0-17? It's just a mindset. So, guys understand that at some point, I have to be the bad guy and try to help this bottom team because I got 9 guys that are not having fun. Now, your team's having fun, and the second and third and fourth place teams are all having fun, and they're enjoying the heck out of it. And I'm not here to ruin that, but at the same time, there's going to be a time where you're one of the bottom teams, and you're going to say, Dave, I'm not having fun. And I got to be the bad guy and do that. And I hate doing it because it's time. It takes me a long time to, to think through it. I can't just do it. I got to think through it and see what the consequences are and then feel it out. And sometimes, one of the captains be like, well, you're getting rid of a defenseman and you're giving me a forward. So that's really going to hurt the team because even though you're not moving my top guy, I'm bringing in a guy that never played defense. And so that's stuff I got to think about too.
Right.
So it's not easy. And I hate doing it, but it's sometimes if you just move just a couple of small pieces around it, and I'm not trying to belittle the guys I traded by any means, but I'm talking about not moving like a top pick is what I mean.
Right.
If you can move some guys in the middle, sometimes that's just enough. Sometimes just moving 1 or 2 guys is enough to shake it up. That it's just sometimes just like I said, you start getting you're 0-7, and you get at each other, and you're just like, so you move. It's like when you a pack of dogs. You know what I mean? One dog, you add one dog into it, and it changes the dynamics of the group. And sometimes it's for the better, and that's what we were hoping for, and they did. So Nick come in, and I know he's very mad at me, but I know he also understands that I'm in a hard position here, that I can't just let a team flounder and then have 3 guys show up because they don't want to play on a winless team.
I can see both sides.
And again, it was a 1-goal game that his maybe it's a couple goal game, but I mean, so the team that was traded from, Dan Kelly's team, the Rock, they're not a bad team. Even though we made the trade, they're still not a bad team, But what I have to do now that I traded from the first place team, now the second and third place team have an advantage over the first place team because they did not get a trade, if you follow.
Yep.
So it's a balancing act, you know what I mean? It's like if I take away from this team, well, now they're below this team, and they're like, hey, blah blah blah. So
you can't win. All right, so quickly, let's go through.
And if I do nothing, I still won.
Yes. That's why you're the chief cook, bottle washer, and laundry guru of Saugus, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
All right. Standings.
Yeah, let me see if I can bring that up right now. So I'm going to screen share.
All right.
Let's see if I can do that right now. All right, so hopefully that's showing my standings there right now. So, so the Rock, they fell, but they're still in first place at 6-2. They're still tied with Rumblefish for points, but there's more. Rumblefish has 1 less win, so technically the Rock is still in first place. Face Off had that weird game this weekend, so they got a tie. Fast Times at Ridgemont High, they're up and down. They can't figure out if they're a good or a bad team yet, so they lost this week. Ghost Rider won in overtime, and Raising Arizona lost in overtime to Ghost Rider. And the rest of the bottom there, none of them lost. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, none of them lost. I think there was a tie in there somewhere. But so standings, you see Snake Eyes at the bottom. They got the 2 points. So hopefully they'll climb out. But that's where we are in these Saturday standings. We'll take a look at the league leaders here on Saturday. And Mark Scribner there, the new guy, continues to lead the league in points and goals, followed by Mike DeVincent, who's having a terrific season on Kick-Ass. I mean, we knew Mike had it in him. He just never brings it out. Tony Laverty, who I think he's going to – Ron, I think Tony's going back to a first-round pick next year. 3rd in scoring. I mean, I don't know how he's going to argue that with anybody. And then we go right down with Coos, Woody, and Conley. And then taking a look at some of our goalies here. Oh, John Logan, 2 power play goals. Way to go, Johnny. He was on fire this week. I don't know if he was a star or not, but he's been doing really well.
Let's see. Liam is leading the Chris Allen Award.
Yeah, Liam and Mike Conley as well, tied with 6 penalty minutes there. So, and moving on to the goaltenders, Steve DePrato's having a good season there, 3.80. Rumblefish, that's one of the teams that we're looking to adjust, so to speak. Jeremy Russell has been splitting duties with Justin Burnett, and he's up there 4.25. Scotty Evans, a Ghost Rider, he's been on the show here, doing a fantastic job as well. And Phil and Tom Grasso with 5. And Rob 9-goal McHugh, pew pew, 5.46. So that's a look at our league leaders on the Saturday League.
All right, so let's talk about what happened last night. Stop or My Mom Will Shoot and Over the Top tied at 4. Now, this is a game that was very near and dear to the commissioner. Second and third place meant nothing was decided. Over the Top had a full squad, while Stopper My Mom needed a couple of subs just to have enough to play. One of those subs was a month shy of his 52nd birthday, and it was his goal with 6 seconds left that tied the game for Stop. Both teams had sub goalies in the tie. Now, did they need to administer oxygen to you, Dave, after the goal?
No, I just left the ice. Actually, what was kind of funny though is I was on the bench. It was 4-3. The other team was leading, and we were pressing, and we just couldn't get the tying goal. And it was about 3 minutes ago, and they called a timeout. And so Courtney Brown was playing on that team, my team. And he comes over the bench, and I says, Courtney, 3 minutes ago, you want to finish it? And he goes, no. He goes, I'll play about a minute, then you come out. I was like, okay, that's fine. You know, it's his team, but if, you know, whatever. So he comes over a little over a minute to go, and I jump out, and the other team went down and had the open net. We had the goalie out. And I think they were screwing around. And one guy got it and missed the net. Another guy got it, missed the net. And it's like we still had 16 or 17 seconds to go, and with a small rink, you can get up there in a hurry. So we got the ball, and we flew up, and I think it was Dennis Bertocci took a slap pass right at me. I went to the net, and I tipped it, and it hit the goalie's shoulder and the crossbar.
Oh, my gosh.
And went up in the air, and I was like, I can't believe I didn't put that in. That would have tied the game. It goes behind the net, and Anthony Milne went behind the net. I slid to the other post, called for the ball, and he threw a backhand pass that went through everybody, landed on my stick, and I just pushed it at the net and hit the post and went in with 6 seconds to go. And that got us to tie. And I did the Conor McGregor walk. I did one of these. It was hilarious. I had to ham it up. But yeah, kudos to Courtney Brown, because he must have sensed that I had this game tying goal in me when he came to the bench and sat down. So I think Courtney's one of the stars of the week, because he said, Dave, you get out there and tie the game, and I did so much. But yeah, that was fun getting out there. I had a really bad first and second period, but I came on strong in the third and helped them out tie the game. Nobody scored in overtime, and that's where we ended. So, but yeah, it was just kind of funny that in exactly 1 month I'll be 52. So the oldest guy out there on Tuesday came through in the end. And, you know, Ron, and I know guys, you know, hate it when I toot my own horn, but damn, I'm going to be 52 and I'm skating with these young guys, and, you know, I got to toot it when I can, right? I don't toot it.
You absolutely should. Hey, you get over a certain age, you certainly can. So Dave Gardner is our AARP Player of the Week. At 7:30, we have Rocky beating Cliffhanger 6-2. Middle of the pack teams met with Cliffhanger, phoning it in a bad 6-2 loss. Nothing went right for the team in black. In fact, some of the guys even wore the wrong number. Rocky got 2 goals from CJ and 2 from Matt Clark. Heck, even for Francesca scored. That sounds like that. Francesca. Even as he had as many points as slumping Tyler Bova. Lucas only had 1 lousy assist himself. So the algorithm ties 1 game and then talks smack in the second.
Oh, yeah, it was just Cliffhanger got nothing going. They're a good team. They got a lot of firepower, and they just couldn't get anything going at all. And Rocky just played a well, contained game. They got some big saves from goalie AK. Mike DeMarco made his Tuesday night debut back on defense, subbing in for Jim Griffin, and he didn't seem to, have any issues playing on Tuesday night. And Frasca scored the open net goal at the end. I think CJ had a couple of goals, as did, I think it was Matt Clark. Matt Clark had the other 2. So yeah, just Rocky, just solid game in net. They always play the low scoring games. This one they got 6-2, and yeah, tough day for Bova and Lucas. They couldn't get anything going, and usually this team can score a lot of goals, and they just did not tonight. And Ricci and Biancardi both had each other's number on, but it didn't matter because they didn't figure in any of the scoring anyway.
Okay. It was the Browns and the Bills at 8:30. The EMRHL version of Thursday Night Football as the bottom two teams met. The Browns, or the Expendables, will take this one 10-4, but are still in last place. Greg Smith was back in the Lords of Flatbush lineup that ended their 3-game winning streak. Oh, that's right. He'd been out, and they won. I forgot about that. He remains the only guy without a win this season. Josh Hebern had a strong game.
Yep, it was so Greg Smith was back in the lineup, so Ernie and Tony stayed home. And I think Ernie was in for 2 wins and Tony was in last week for another win, and Greg Smith come back, and now they're back to their losing ways. I'm not putting it on his shoulders per se. But I guess we could if we wanted to, if the algorithm says so. So yeah, it was just tough game for the Lords of Flatbush after 3 straight wins. And they were playing the Expendables, who's the other bottom team in the league. And big game for Josh. A couple of booming slap shots went in the net. And yeah, so the Expendables get a nice win here. And we always joke. I stole that one from Jake Krajewski there. When every time we have 2 bad teams play, he would always say it's Bills versus Browns on Thursday.
Oh, yes, I like it.
I always steal that. Stole that from Jake. That was not mine.
The last game of the week, undefeated Tango and Cash is undefeated no more, thanks to the heroic effort by Captain Mike Arsenault and his call for more defense. Sean Johnson backboned the team in the net. Rambo beat him 7-6. The highest scoring team in the league focused on defense and scored only 7 goals, but got the win. Steven DePreto was a net for Tango's first loss of the season, which also makes him for the 2nd week in a row this week's scapegoat.
Yeah, it was funny because we were talking before the game, and DePrato says, I was kidding about how he's having a bad year playing in net. He's a goalie as well as a skater. He's like, I'm playing really well. Look at my goals against. Look at my record. And he went out and he lost the game for the – now, he's a skater on that team, so he's on that team. But he went back in and he was the fill-in goalie last night, and it didn't go very well for him taking on Rambo. And, yeah, Rambo Mike Arsenault was all excited after the game. He's like, Dave, you see how much defense we played? And it's like, Dave, it's scoring goals is fun, but it's more fun to win a game not scoring a lot than losing a game scoring a lot. And I was like, well, I says, Mike, defense wins championships, and you guys haven't been playing much defense. So I says, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I says, you got to win tonight. You knocked off the first place team. They were undefeated. So maybe defense does win championships.
But seriously, DePreto was the goat of the week 2 weeks in a row. Did he scratch your new car or something like that? Algorithm's car, I'm sorry.
No, he didn't. He hasn't been reffing as much as I'd like him to be because he's always volunteering to play net, and he makes me ref for him. So maybe that's what it is. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, now that it's there. All right. Stats and standings for Tuesday.
Yeah, let's see if I can share that screen over here.
So maybe if you refed more, got your coffee order right, maybe threw in an Eclair or a Steam card.
Something like that. Yeah. PlayStation gift certificate.
There
are the standings. We played 10 games. We got 4 left to go. Tango and Cash. See there, the right here in the middle. The L, the 1 right here on the loss screen. So there's 7-1-2. Over the top with losing in overtime. They pick up a point last night. No, actually, I'm sorry. That was the tie. There was overtime tie against Stopper My Mom. So 2 and 3 played, and they each tied. So over the top still maintains that point lead. Rambo, by virtue of the win last night, they're now 11 points. Rocky with the win now is 11 points. And Cliffhanger, Lord the Flatbush, both lost. Now the Expendables, interesting. They're 2 and 7 now. They got that one game winning streak going. They got 5 points now. They're catching up on Lord the Flatbush. And if Cliffhanger isn't careful, they could slip down to the bottom as well. So the last 4 weeks are going to be very interesting here in the Tuesday League. We're looking at league leaders.
10 games. Lord of the Flatbush is losing by an average of 2 goals a game.
Yeah, they're in every game. Yeah, they absolutely are. They're just not winning them.
Wow. So, Dan Lopes. That's insane.
Yep, Dan Lopes 54 points in 10 games we've played. So yeah. But I mean that's what that team does. He's on the Rambo team, and they would score a ton of goals and a ton of points, but lose 11-10, or 12-11 or what it is. So now here we are right now, and he's 54 points. Brian Estrella of the last place Lords. Here's the funny thing is the last place team there, or the second last place team, has the second highest goal scorer. So not all the better guys are on the top teams right now. So a little bit of balance on Tuesday. Tyler Bova and Mike Arsenal right there. Bova had a tough night last night, pointless, or maybe 1 point, but he still got 40. And there's, Lucas right there behind him with 33. His teammate went pointless last night. Chris Mahoney's trying to carry that Expendables team out of last place. He's up there all by himself. He's the only orange guy on that list. Now, if we scroll down, take a look at some of the goaltenders here.
Well, who's your Nyland winner? Someone's got 8 penalty minutes?
Oh, Joe Belfrio, yeah. Yeah, not known for dirty play. I think it's more lazy penalties than anything else. I really expect Andrew Conlon here to bump it up and overtake him in penalties pretty soon. So, yeah. And Courtney Brown's on the list, too. Just wanted to point out that Courtney Brown is on that list.
You gonna ever share with us what you want in your coffee so people can, because it's just 2 minutes, but
Courtney never brings me coffee, so maybe that's why he's here.
And so the goalie leads the Reggie Lemelin Award.
Yeah. Goalies of the week. Chris Vittorio's at the top, but he only did play the 1 game with us, so we kind of he's on the list, but he's not a regular. So Joe Biancardi, he's also a fill-in. So let's go with the regulars. So Alec Konecki there, he's 4.31, so he's the top of our regulars. Andrew Tottenkoff's also a fill-in. All the fill-ins are at the top. 3 of the top 4 goalies are fill-ins. I just noticed that.
Wow.
So I guess our regular goalies just aren't that good on Tuesday anymore. Don't know what it is, but yeah. So it's AK and Garrett, who hasn't played many games, and Jay Sop in there as well. So yeah. So I guess it's all the sub players that are doing really well on the Tuesday goaltending.
Apparently so. All right. So what you got going on this week?
Let me see what's going on. I still got to take a look at the Saturday League. I still got to make some adjustments on the Saturday League. It takes a long time to figure it out. And then sometimes we'll make a trade, and before we announce it, we find out one of the guys isn't going to be there. And it's like, why bother making a trade if he's not even going to be there, Because you want to see the trade in action and see how it works out.
Right.
So, so there's more of that. Like I said, 4 weeks ago in the Tuesday season, I forget how many weeks left on Saturday. We're kind of plowing through that as well. What's really neat is we got a lot of guys looking to play in both leagues. So I'm really kind of happy that that not only are we maintaining teams, that we have a lot of guys looking to play. So hopefully that'll carry over into the summer. I'm still waiting for that second set of jersey order to arrive. The first set came in 3 weeks. It was really fast, but the reorder now is taking a lot longer. They said it's on the way, but nothing I can do to rush it. So hopefully everybody that ordered the second round of jerseys will have those for you. And I see I did a little channel update the other day here. So not only we're going to continue this, we're thinking about doing a night show at some point, probably either a Wednesday night or a Saturday or Sunday night. Hopefully, Ron, you can join us if we do that. Just to see what would happen if we did it at night, if we got more people in the chat room watching us live, or if it opened up the opportunity for different people to join us who can't join us Wednesdays at noon. So we're thinking about doing that from time to time as well. And then I'm going to get back to the wrestling events. That was a fun time there when I had the EMRHL players I created in the wrestling game wrestle each other and just let it play out. That was a lot of fun. Then my mom got sick there, and I just haven't really been in the mood for that. But I'll get back to that now that she's walking. I saw her today walking to therapy today at the rehab place, so that was good news.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get back to the wrestling online here too as well. And then if you might have seen the other day on Facebook and YouTube, I did the USSR and Canada 1972 Summit Series and that sports simulation there, which those are really fun doing the sports simulations. I did that. And so I'll be doing more of that. So if you're interested in some hockey history, I'll be doing some more of the Summit Series. And I'm also going to take Team USA, the 1980 Team USA team, and I'm going to pit them against some NHL teams in this simulation run. I'm going to start off with the bottom teams. I think the worst one is the 74-75 Washington Capitals. So we're going to start with them. And I think next on the list was the 91 or 92 Ottawa Senators. They were bad. So we're going to build them up. We'll probably play some Nordiques, and we'll play some Seals. And then we'll eventually get them to play some of the powerhouses, the Islanders, Oilers, Bruins, Canadians, just to see how that goes, just for fun. But yeah, it's fun just kicking back and playing some of these old strategy games with teams from the past. It's really kind of fun. So that's kind of what's coming up here on the channel.
Well, we're looking forward to that. And if you do want to join Dave on the show, just give him a jingle down at the rink when he's there, when you're there, and you two can set something up.
Yep. And we've had guests on this week. It just was a little crazy. I didn't have a chance to ask anybody to join us this week. I know a couple of people are asking. So hopefully next weekend we'll be back with a guest, and hopefully it won't be a goalie.
That's right. We really haven't had many, actual forward players.
I think it's been all goalies. So, Dan Kelly. Dan Kelly was the only one that wasn't a goalie.
As Dave discovers his goalie fetish once again. So hopefully we'll be with you next weekend. Just look, I can just see the eyes working now. I am so dead when I do my game tonight. He's going to find something to use against me, because he usually does. And yes, I dusted off my Betamax collection of the greatest games in Montreal Canadiens history. Thanks, Dave.
That's great.
All right, we'll see you next week at noon on This Week on the E. For Dave Gardner, I'm Ron Zuckett. We'll talk to you soon.